Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. Colombia agrees to receive citizens deported from the US after Trump imposes tariffs and sanctions. Displaced Palestinians start returning to Northern Gaza for the first time in over a year. Rebels backed by Rwanda capture Congo's largest city of Goma, threaten to worsen one of Africa's longest wars. And a preliminary report on South Korea plane crash says birds had struck the aircraft's engines. The US and Colombia pulled back from the brink of a trade war after the White House said the South American nation had agreed to accept military aircraft carrying deported migrants. US President Donald Trump had threatened tariffs and sanctions on Colombia to punish it for earlier refusing to accept military flights carrying deportees. Take a look at the next report.
Colombia on Sunday backed down and agreed to accept deported citizens sent on U.S. military aircraft hours after President Donald Trump threatened painful tariffs to punish the defiance to his mass deportation plans. Colombia's President Gustavo Petro had earlier said he would only take back citizens with dignity, such as on civilian planes, and had turned back 2 U.S. military aircraft with repatriated Colombians. Trump responded furiously and threatened sanctions of 25% that would quickly scale up to 50% against Latin America's fourth largest economy. Petro initially sought to hit back and impose his own tariffs on U.S. products, but by the end of the volatile Sunday, he had backed down.
El gobierno de Colombia informa.
Colombian government informs it has got over its impasse with the government of the United States. In this context, Colombian Foreign Minister Luis Gilberto Murillo and Ambassador Daniel Garcia Pena will travel in the coming days to Washington, D.C. to have high-level meetings that follow up on the agreements resulting from the joint work that led to the exchange of diplomatic notes between the two governments.
Trump said he would suspend implementation of the tariffs. Secretary of State Marco Rubio suspended issuance of visas at the U.S. Embassy in Bogota and said visas would be revoked to Colombian government officials and their immediate family members. The White House said the visa measures would stay in place until the first plane load of deportees returns. Trump's deportation threats have put him on a potential collision course with governments in Latin America, the original home of most of the United States' estimated 11 million undocumented migrants. While previous U.S. administrations also routinely carried out deportations, the Trump administration has begun using military aircraft, with at least one landing in Guatemala this week. Kajal's report, DD India.
Meanwhile, Trump's crackdown on illegal immigration expanded over the weekend, with several federal agencies carrying out respective operations in different parts of the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement officers and other federal agents conducted arrests in Chicago on Sunday. A Justice Department official said the first arrest in Chicago involved an immigrant living illegally in the U.S. who had killed a 19-year-old woman while driving under the influence. While in Colorado, the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration detained around 50 undocumented migrants, many reportedly linked to Venezuela's Tren de Aragua gang. The arrests were made during a raid at a makeshift club in Adams County on Sunday. The operation, conducted in collaboration with federal and local authorities, also led to the seizure of drugs, weapons, and cash. Reacting to the whole crackdown operation, the White House border czar Tom Homan has said that the public should expect more arrests in the coming weeks. Tom Homan added that the operation was focused on individuals deemed a national security or public safety threat. Asked whether Immigration and Customs Enforcement officers would be entering typically off-limits spaces such as schools and churches, Homan said it would be determined on a case-by-case basis.
If you're in the country illegally, you're on the table, because it's not okay to, violate laws of this country. You got to remember, every time you enter this country illegally, you violated a crime under Title 8, United States Code 1325. It's a crime. So if you're in the country illegally, you got a problem. ICE officers should have discretion to decide if a national security threat or a public safety threat is in one of these facilities, then there should be an option for them to make the arrest.
The Trump administration urged U.S. Agency for International Development workers to join the effort to transform how Washington, D.C. allocates aid around the world in line with Trump's America First policy. A memo sent on Saturday to more than 10,000 staff at U.S. aid offered further guidance to Friday's Stop Work Directive that effectively put a sweeping freeze on U.S. foreign aid worldwide. Trump ordered a 90-day pause in foreign aid to review if it was aligned with his foreign policy priorities. On Friday, the State Department issued a stop work order worldwide, even for existing and appropriated assistance, calling into question billions of dollars of life-saving aid. The United States is the largest single donor of aid globally. In fiscal year 2023, it had disbursed $72 billion in assistance. It gave 42% of all humanitarian aid tracked by the United Nations in 2024. Hamas on Monday handed over to mediators a list showing that 25 Israeli hostages are still alive out of 33 scheduled for release. An official of Hamas said that Israel had received the list from the mediators of the Gaza ceasefire agreement. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has confirmed that civilian Arbel Yehud, soldier Agam Bega and another hostage will be released by Hamas. Under the terms of the ceasefire agreement, residents of Northern Gaza were due to return at the weekend. But Israel said that Hamas had broken the deal by failing to release civilian female hostage Arbel Yehud and kept its forces deployed in the Netzarim corridor that separates Northern Gaza from the rest of the enclave. Meanwhile, tens of thousands of Palestinians began moving along the main roads leading north in Gaza on Monday as Israel opened roadblocks after Hamas agreed to hand over female Israeli hostage Arbel Yehud and two other hostages. The first residents arrived in Gaza City in the early morning after the first crossing point in central Gaza opened at 7 a.m. local time. As news that the crossings would be opened filtered out, thousands of displaced families burst in cheers at shelters and tent encampments. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu appeared in a Tel Aviv courtroom on Monday to resume his testimony in a high-profile corruption trial after a month-long delay because of surgery. Netanyahu, who has pleaded not guilty, denies all charges in the case. He is the first sitting Israeli Prime Minister to face criminal charges. Tensions are escalating in the Baltic Sea after an undersea fiber optic cable linking Latvia and Sweden was damaged, sparking suspicions of sabotage. The incident happened on Sunday, with Latvia reporting significant damage to an undersea cable, likely caused by external interference. NATO has swiftly responded by deploying patrol ships under its Baltic Sentry mission, while Sweden launched a sabotage investigation. Swedish authorities seized a vessel as part of the probe, with senior prosecutor Mats Lundqvist confirming ongoing investigative measures. The damaged cable lies in Sweden's economic zone, disrupting communications. Providers, however, have rerouted traffic. Repairs may take weeks. With heightened concerns following previous incidents involving critical infrastructure since Russia-Ukraine conflict, NATO forces remain on high alert. Meanwhile, Latvian Prime Minister Evkas Silina emphasized coordination with NATO and Baltic nations to uncover the truth.
We have also determined that damage is most likely from an external force and it must be quite significant. And the naval forces have also been involved and have surveilled the potential area.
Belarusian leader Alexander Lukashenko extended his 31-year rule with a massive win in a presidential election denounced by the European Union and the exiled opposition. According to results published by the Central Election Commission, Lukashenko won 86.8% of the vote in Sunday's election. European politicians said the vote was neither free nor fair because independent media are banned in the former Soviet state and all leading opposition figures have been sent to penal colonies or forced to flee abroad. Meanwhile, Russia's President Vladimir Putin congratulated his Belarusian counterpart, saying the election showed he had the undoubted backing of the people.
Alexander Grigorievich.
Alexander Lukashenko received 5,136,293 or 86.82% of votes, so the majority of votes have been cast for Alexander Lukashenko.
Наибольшее количество голосов.
Tensions rise in the Democratic Republic of the Congo as the M23 rebel group asserts control over Goma, a critical city in the country's east. Meanwhile, the UN Security Council has condemned the blatant violation of Congo's sovereignty and territorial integrity, calling for the removal of external forces without explicitly naming them. It's a report by DD India's Harshita Oberoi.
Tensions have escalated in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo as the M23 rebel group claims to have seized Goma, a strategic city near the Rwandan border. Explosions and gunfire reverberated Sunday night, deepening a conflict that has displaced hundreds of thousands. Fierce clashes between M23 Congolese forces and UN peacekeepers have pushed Goma to the brink. The Congolese government accuses Rwanda of backing M23, calling it a declaration of war. Rwanda denies the allegations, insisting its troops are maintaining a defensive stance. However, UN reports claim Rwanda has deployed soldiers to support the rebels, allegedly to exploit the region's mineral wealth. Amid rising tensions, Kenya's President William Ruto announced an emergency summit with DRC President Felix Tshisekedi and Rwanda's President Paul Kagame to de-escalate the crisis.
I call on the parties to the Luanda process on Eastern DRC and appeal specifically to my brothers, President Felix Tshisekedi and President Paul Kagame, to heed the call for peace.
The human toll is devastating. Over 400,000 people have been displaced this year, with key roads and Goma's airport blocked. Humanitarian efforts are paralyzed, leaving many without essential supplies. The UN Security Council condemned the violation of Congo's sovereignty, demanding the withdrawal of external forces, but stopped short of naming Rwanda. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres called on Rwanda to cease support for M23. US Ambassador Dorothy Shea issued a stern warning.
The United States will consider all the tools at its disposal in order to hold accountable those responsible for sustaining armed conflict, instability, and insecurity in the DRC.
The UK and France echoed concerns, urging an end to attacks on peacekeepers and civilians. Peacekeepers have borne heavy losses, with 13 killed, including 9 South Africans. Diplomatic ties between DRC and Rwanda have collapsed, with both nations recalling ambassadors. Harshita Oberoi, DD India.
Still to come on DD India Live. Indonesia's naval chief accorded Guard of Honor in New Delhi. And West Indies script history by winning a test match in Pakistan for the first time in 35 years. watching DD India Live. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. Indonesia's naval chief, Admiral Muhammad Ali, was accorded Guard of Honor in New Delhi on Monday. Admiral Ali is on an official visit to India as part of the high-level delegation accompanying President Prabowo Subianto, the chief guest for the India's 76th Republic Day Parade. The Indonesian naval chief also laid wreath at the National War Memorial. During his visit, Admiral Muhammad Ali met with the Chief of the Naval Staff, Admiral Dinesh K. Tripathi, and held bilateral interactions to deepen maritime cooperation and strengthen ties between the two close maritime neighbors. The key areas of discussion included advancing joint initiatives such as Exercise Samudra Shakti, strengthening operational collaboration, and addressing shared maritime challenges, including piracy and other illegal activities at sea. A consignment consisting of bronchodilators, inhalers, and ventilators departed from New Delhi to assist the people in the Kurdistan region of Iraq. India's Ministry of External Affairs spokesperson Ranveer Jaiswal took to social media platform X to inform about the humanitarian aid sent to Iraq. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi attended the annual National Cadet Corps PM rally at the Cariappa Parade Ground in New Delhi. The Prime Minister inspected the impressive parade at the annual NCC Rally 2025. The theme for this year's NCC PM rally is Yuva Shakti Viksit Bharat, which is Hindi for India's Youth Developed India. The Prime Minister was also accorded a Guard of Honor by the cadets. A total of 2,361 NCC cadets participated in the Republic Day camp this year, with over 917 girl cadets, which remains highest ever participation by girls cadets so far. Prime Minister Modi handed over awards to the cadets that included the Best Cadet Award, among others. The rally marks the successful culmination of a month-long NCC Republic Day Camp 2025. A cultural program by more than 800 cadets showcasing commitment of NCC towards nation building was also performed. 144 young cadets from 18 friendly foreign countries also added fervor to this year's rally. Addressing the rally, the Prime Minister said the NCC has constantly inspired the youth of India towards nation building.
भारत के युवा सिर्फ भारत के लिए नहीं, बल्कि फोर्स फॉर ग्लोबल गुड है। भारत में बीते दशक में युवाओं ने 1.5 लाख स्टार्टअप्स और 100 से ज्यादा यूनिकॉर्न्स बनाए हैं। आज दुनिया की 200 से ज्यादा बड़ी कंपनियों को भारतीय मूल के लोग लीड कर रहे हैं। यानी कोई भी सेक्टर हो, भारत की युवा शक्ति, भारत के टैलेंट के बिना दुनिया के भविष्य की कल्पना भी मुश्किल है।
India's Minister of Commerce and Industry Piyush Goyal is on a 2-day visit to Muscat, Oman from January 27th to the 28th to participate in the 11th India-Oman Joint Commission meeting. The minister held a meeting with His Excellency Qais bin Mohammed Al Youssef, Oman's Minister of Commerce, Industry and Investment Promotion. The discussions focused on advancing negotiations for the Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement, or CEPA. During his visit, the minister will also interact with Omani industry leaders and members of the Indian diaspora, further solidifying India-Oman relations. Global e-marketplace Waves Bazaar was launched by Minister of Information and Broadcasting Ashwini Vaishnav on Monday, along with CIC Challenge Wow Start and the Waves Awards as part of the World Audiovisual and Entertainment Summit. The event was graced by Gajendra Singh Shekhawat, Minister of Culture and Tourism, along with Dr. L. Murugan, MOS, and Sanjay Jaju, Secretary, INB. The nomination for Waves Awards will begin from the 15th of February 2025. Speaking at the launch, Minister of Information and Broadcasting Ashwini Vaishnav spoke about the importance of Waves platform for India.
प्रधानमंत्री जी ने बहुत क्लियर एक हमारे सामने लक्ष्य रखा था। जैसे वर्ल्ड इकोनॉमी में डाइवोर्स होता है इकोनॉमिक मैटर्स के लिए, वैसे ही क्रिएटिविटी के लिए वेव्स उसी स्तर का होना चाहिए। वेव्स का उद्देश्य रहेगा हमारी इस क्रिएटिविटी को, इस स्टोरी टेलिंग ट्रेडिशन को और नौजवानों की और क्रिएटर्स की इस ताकत को एक नया स्थान मिले, ग्लोबल रिकॉग्निशन मिले और भारत क्रिएटिव इकोनॉमी का कैपिटल बने।
The 50th Arab Health Exhibition and Congress began at the Dubai World Trade Center on Monday, highlighting India's pharmaceutical and healthcare capabilities with 361 companies. Running from January 27 to 30th, the event aligns with industry projections of the global healthcare market reaching $780 billion by 2030. Supported by the Ministry of Commerce and Industry and the Pharmaceuticals Export Promotion Council of India, India's contingent includes 65 companies and 22 medical device manufacturers. Notable participants such as HLL Lifecare Limited, Bharat Parenterals Limited and Zuvius Life Sciences Private Limited are showcasing advancements in formulations, nutraceuticals, oncology and active pharmaceutical ingredients. The milestone edition features over 40 country pavilions, including debut participants Morocco and Latvia. The consumer healthcare market, valued at $360 billion in 2023, is projected to grow at a robust 8.8% annual rate through 2030.
We were a very small company. We were not having any exposure to the market. But thanks to the EEPC and the Farm Exil and the government of India's support, we started exhibiting for the first time over here. Started with a very small stall of 6 square meters. From there, we grown to the 9 square meters corner stalls. We have started exporting to this many countries because the buyers that we get over here, they all are quality buyers, and of course they are here for a serious business. So we are so happy with the support of EEPC and Government of India that they are providing such platform to our small industries like us. Arab Health being one of the biggest event of the medical device field, it is there since last 50 years happening in Dubai, and due to the position of Dubai as a global hub, we get buyers from across the world, be it Latin America, be it Australia, New Zealand, or be it Europeans. So that is the main reason that why we always hope to participate over here. This is my 7th year of participation, and I look forward to participate over here again and again.
In sports news, West Indies scripted history as they won a test match in Pakistan for the first time in nearly 35 years on Monday. Spinner Jomel Barrakan took 5 wickets to lead Windies to a 120-run win in the second test to draw the series 1-all. The last time the West Indies won a test in Pakistan was in Faisalabad in November 1990. The defeat sent Pakistan crashing to 9th and last in the World Test Championship table, while the West Indies finished 8th. That's all for this edition of DD India Live. Let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. You can get the latest news and updates on the DD India mobile app. It's available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen now to download it. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran from all of us here in New Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live.